Hello 1983 Chapter 1, I'll Kill You Bastard. Chapter 1 I'll Kill You Bastard. Sanfenger, wake up, don't scare me. Lu Qingshan heard someone calling his nickname in his ears, it felt so familiar and long ago. Since his grandparents and mother passed away one after another, basically no one called him Sanfenger anymore. The name Sanfeng is very particular. He has two older sisters, Lu Jinfeng and Lu Yinfeng. Knowing that this is the first boy in the family, according to local customs, he was worried that it would be difficult to support him, so he took the nickname of the girl. Lu Qingshan wanted to open his eyes to take a look, but the two thin eyelids seemed to be heavy with two heavy weights. Sanfeng, don't make any mistakes. Don't forget that you still owe me a nickel. Pa, it seems like a slap. Then another voice sounded next to my ear, big head, don't howl, I saw that Sanfenger's eyelids are moving. Really, Biaozi, don't fool me. Really, Sanfeng's eyes are open, she must be fine. Lu Qingshan finally opened his eyes, and found himself lying on the grass, the sun was a bit dazzling. After getting used to it, I could clearly see the 2.5 boys dangling in front of me. They were naked and tanned like black loach. Big head, Biaozi, what are you doing? In front of me are the two best friends of my youth, but suddenly they have changed into their childhood appearance. Is there really rejuvenation in this world? The kid whose head was a bit bigger than the average kid jumped down with a cheer. Two hands pressed on Lu Qingshan's belly which was also bare, and then with a puff, a sip of water came out of Lu Qingshan's mouth, spraying Dadu's face all over. The kid didn't care, he wiped it with his hands, gritted his teeth and laughed, Sanfenger, you almost scared me out of my soul just now. Blinking his eyes hard twice, Lu Qingshan trembled. He suddenly remembered, didn't the scene in front of him happen in the summer vacation when he graduated from the 3rd year of junior high school? He and his friends went swimming in the reservoir to catch fish, and almost drowned because of leg cramps. That year, he was only 16 years old. So, he asked anxiously, Big Head, what year is this year? Big Head's happy face suddenly collapsed, it's over, Sanfengian is a fool, then do you still remember that you owe me 5 cents? Go aside. Another stronger boy pulled the Big Head aside, Sanfenger, this year is 1983, we just graduated. 1983. Lu Qingshan nodded blankly, raised his arm to look at it, his slender arm, his little hand looked like chicken feet, and then looked down. Well, sure enough, the hair hasn't grown all the way yet. Come back, really come back. The middle-aged greasy uncle has turned back into a half-child, and everything will start again. In the last life, I lived too tired and owed too much to my family. This time, he wants to hold his fate firmly in his hands. Clenching his fists tightly, Lu Qingshan's mind became much clearer, and suddenly, a thought flashed through his mind. He leaped to the ground and jumped up from the grass, Big Head, Biaozi, what date is it today? The Big Head scratched his wet head, it's a holiday, who still remembers the date? Biaozi was more clever, July 20th, what's wrong? Sure enough, it is this day. Lu Qingshan roared in his head, and roared in his mouth, quick, come with me to find Gao Wenxue, that idiot. After shouting, he ran away. Sanfenger, isn't Gao Wenxue dating your elder sister? Big Head's voice came from behind. Get dressed first. This is the voice of Biaozi. Lu Qingshan ran a few steps, feeling a bit chilly, and ran back quickly. 2 torn trousers and a pair of underpants were thrown on the grass, and he couldn't remember which one belonged to him. Lu Qingshan yelled again, quickly wear it. Hey, Biaozi picked up the pair of green cloth pants with 2 large patches on the knees. The Big Head slowly picked up the underpants. Lu Qingshan then picked up the blue trousers. The trousers were very old, and there were 2 big patches, one blue and one green, sewn on the buttocks. After anxiously slipping on one leg, Lu Qingshan realized that he couldn't wear it anymore, and the more anxious he became, the more chaotic he became. Sanfenger, your pants are on the side. Biaozi reminded me next to him. Thinking about the 2 older sisters in the family, Lu Qingshan understood a little bit. At this time, the family was poor, and a piece of clothing was 3 years old, 3 years old, and 3 years old, and it took 3 years to mend it. When it was his turn, he might choose which sisters to wear. A pair of trousers would be fine. Anyway, I pushed my pants in and put on the waistband, but it turned out to be a bit confusing. You said it was a delay. This is still a thick canvas belt, with a small iron semicircular bowl at one end and an iron ring at the other end. The two are interlocked to fit perfectly. Seeing a red vest on the ground that was almost faded to white, he picked it up and put it on his upper body. Picking up the 1,000-piece-old cloth shoes again, a small hole was opened in the front of the cloth shoes, and the thumb toe poked out of the hole openly. There is no way, the boy wastes too much time, the girl wastes too much pancreas, every family is like this. After wearing it, Lu Qingshan spread his hooves and ran towards the village not far away. At this very moment, in the crude waiting room of Bishui County Railway Station, a young man was holding the arm of a middle-aged man, and asked anxiously. "Old uncle, what disease did my mother suffer from, and what is going on now, old uncle, tell me quickly." The young man wears a big nearsighted mirror, combs his hair in 3 to 7 parts, and has a thin, scrupulous face that looks gentle, but at the moment he looks anxious. The middle-aged man was relatively thin, with an unhurried expression on his face. He reached out and patted his nephew on the shoulder. "Literature, your mother is not sick at all. Anyway, now the letter of introduction has been issued, and the train ticket has also been bought. As long as he escorts his nephew back to Beijing, he will complete the task." "Not sick. Uncle, what's going on?" Gao Wenxue pushed his glasses hard with his hand, feeling a little dazed. The old uncle took his nephew, sat down on the long wooden chair, and said earnestly. "Literature, last time you wrote a letter to your family, saying that you have met someone in the countryside and you are going to get married, right?" "Okay." Gao Wenxue nodded emphatically. Of course he made up his mind. "You silly child, if you really get married in the countryside, you will spend your whole life in a small ravine, farming and digging dung all day, and your life will be completely ruined." Gao Shueshue has always been obsessed with literary creation. Although he is a bit bookish, he now understands a little bit. "Uncle, but Jin Feng and I." The middle-aged man didn't ask him to continue, and interrupted his nephew. "Literature, you are still too young to know that people are sinister. The girl in the village is interested in your status as an educated youth. Knowing that you will return to the city sooner or later, she will bring her back to the city, and she will become a city person in a sudden change. She is a climber and uses you." Gao Wenxue shook his head, his gaze through the lens was very firm. "No, uncle, Jin Feng is not what you said. This kid is really stubborn. The middle-aged man is also a little anxious. Everything has been arranged for you at home. If you rely on the relationship to go through the back door, your mother will almost kneel down to the leader of the factory to win you the opportunity to enter the factory. Don't you like writing? The leader of the factory said that he directly asked you to join the trade union and focus on training in the future. If you don't go back, your mother will get angry in a hurry, and maybe she will be really sick. You say you are not filial, child." Gao Wenxue is also in a dilemma this time. On the one hand, he is the parents who raised him, and on the other hand, he is the girl he loves. He doesn't know what to do. Of course he also wants to go back to the city. After all, the life in the capital is not comparable to this small mountain village. The old uncle was watching his words and expressions, and when he saw his nephew struggling, he struck while the iron was hot. "Literature, you should go back to the city and settle down first. If you are sincere with that girl, you can come back to the city later. The old uncle can't force you to be Chinshimi, right? This seems good. Yes, go back to the city first, and then marry Jin Feng in a grand manner." Gao Wenshue's eyes lit up, thinking he had found a solution to the problem. It's just that a nerd like him doesn't know that the residence registration in the capital is so easy to solve. What his old uncle meant was to coax him back first, and after a while, he would naturally forget about this small mountain village. The nephew and uncle were silent for a while, and Gao Wenxue gradually settled down. "Uncle, even if I go back to the city, I have to tell Jin Feng to wait for me at ease. I've already bought the train tickets, so I'd better write a letter after I get home." The old uncle managed to coax his eldest nephew to the station, and of course he would not let him go back. Gao Wenshua thought for a while, but he could only nod his head. At this moment, he suddenly heard a shout coming into his ears. High literature. Gao Wenshua, where are you? Who finds himself? Gao Wenshua stood up and looked towards the door of the waiting room, and saw a half-grown man shouting profusely in sweat, bouncing up and down, and looking around. The half-sized man was wearing a faded vest on his upper body, which had been drenched with sweat. Gao Wenshua immediately waved his arms when he saw it. San Feng, I'm here. When Lu Qingshan saw the other party, his forehead suddenly burst into flames, his fists were clenched so loudly that he rushed forward and kicked directly. Half a child, but not weak at all, Gao Wenshua was kicked so that he fell back and fell on the chair. Followed by violent fists and kicks, Lu Qingshan screamed hoarsely. I'll kill you bastard, white-eyed wolf, Chen Shimi. Here, I would like to express my apologies to those who supported and invested in the immortal official. For some reasons, we cannot continue. Let's start from the beginning of this book. I hope everyone will continue to support it. End of this chapter. Hello 1983 Chapter 2, A Family, for Collection and Investment. Chapter 2 Family, Seeking Collection and Investment. Fight, fight. In the waiting room, there was a sudden panic, and the passengers retreated one after another, and then stopped more than 10 meters away, forming a circle to watch the excitement. Stop it, why are you beating someone? The old uncle hurried up to pull Lu Qingshan. But Lu Qingshan was already red-eyed at this moment, and even beat up Gao Wenshua's old uncle. This middle-aged man is like a thin monkey, so naturally he can't stop Lu Qingshan who has gone mad. The old guy has a sharp mouth and monkey cheeks, and he definitely didn't come up with any good ideas. Gao Wenshua was beaten, he just covered his head with his arms and shouted, San Feng, why are you beating me? Gao Wenshua, do you want to leave my sister behind and return to the city alone? Lu Qingshan turned around and kicked the middle-aged man down, then pointed at Gao Wenshua. Actually. Gao Wenshua really didn't know how to answer, he wouldn't lie, he really wanted to go back to the city by himself just now. Stop it all. What are you doing? The two police officers on duty finally squeezed into the crowd and quickly grabbed Lu Qingshan. Seeing the white uniform of the policeman, Lu Qingshan finally regained his composure. He realized that he was a little too reckless, he should call Gao Wenshua outside before doing anything. But in his heart, he was so angry that it was difficult to calm down. While struggling, he shouted. Gao Shua, is he still a man? You pat your and leave, are you worthy of my sister and the child in my sister's belly? Kid, what kid? Gao Wenshua hadn't completely woken up from his ignorance, and then Lu Qingshan's scolding sound came from his ear. My sister is pregnant with your child, do you know? If you get out, my sister will have to take care of the child alone. Do you know how much my sister will suffer, you bastard? Lu Qingshan questioned loudly, and tears rolled down from his eyes. That is his own sister, who is just 20 years old this year. When Lu Qingshan was a child, half of her memories are left on the back of the elder sister. She carried him on her back when she was cooking, and she carried her back when she went to work in the production team. Later, the eldest sister was pregnant with Gao Wenshua's child, and this educated youth named Gao Wenshua returned to the city at this time, and then completely disappeared. Because of this, the eldest sister has received so many stares from outsiders, shed so many tears, and brought up the child by herself. In her early 30s, she is as old as a person in her 50s. I'm pregnant, is Jin Feng pregnant with my child? Gao Wenshua looked surprised, and then staggered up from the bench. Suddenly, he trembled, then raised his palm, and slapped himself fiercely in the face. Gao Wenshua, you have read so many books, you have read them into the stomach of a dog, how can you do such a thing? If you really leave, what will Jin Feng do, what will the child do? The melon-eating people around also felt that they had watched a good show, and began to discuss. Should be beaten, such a person should be beaten, if old Bao He is here, he must be killed. You can't say that. I look at this educated youth and seem to regret it. Oh, it's all those years when I went to the mountains and went to the countryside to make troubles. It's a crime. Even the two police comrades let go of Lu Qingshan. Well, this is his family's business. They also quite understand this young man who hit someone. If this kind of thing happened to them, they would be ready to shoot him. After a burst of crazy self-abuse, Gao Wenshue's thin cheeks were a little red and swollen. He suddenly stopped and looked at Lu Qingshan with extremely firm eyes. Sanfeng, I'll go back with you. The anger and sorrow in Lu Qingshan's heart dissipated instantly. The fate of the eldest sister finally changed because of his return. Nephew, you have to think about it. If you miss this opportunity to go back to the city, you will really have to live in a small mountain village and eat dirt for the rest of your life. Gao Wenshue's uncle, clutching his stomach, began to persuade again. Gao Wenshue looked at his old uncle, and then at Lu Qingshan. He was also struggling in his heart, should he go or stay? Going back to the city means a superior life and a bright future. Staying in this small mountain village means suffering hardships. However, there is a girl who truly loves him here. Standing at the crossroads of destiny, no matter who it is inevitable to hesitate. Even Gao Wenshue's thin body began to tremble slightly. Finally, this weak-looking man finally made his own choice. Gao Wenshue walked slowly towards Lu Qingshan. Sanfeng, I won't leave, I will never leave, I want to live a good life with your sister. Nephew, you have to think about it. Gao Wenshue turned to face the old uncle, and took out a ticket from his pocket. At this time, the tickets were still made of rectangular cardboard. He handed the ticket to the old uncle, please refund my ticket. After finishing speaking, he quickly ran to Lu Qingshan and took his arm. Sanfeng, let's go back to the village now. At this moment, Lu Qingshan felt as if he had moved a mountain away, extremely relaxed. He looked at Gao Wenshue apologetically. Brother Wenshue, I was too impulsive just now. Are you okay? Gao Wenshue waved his hands and said, it's okay, Qingshan, you played well, you woke me up. Otherwise, I would have become Chinshimi. Having lived in this small mountain village named Jayapagu for 3 to 5 years, his accent has already brought a strong local characteristic. This is the imprint left by life on the lives of educated youths. Lu Qingshan wiped the corner of his eyes, grinned and said, Brother Wen, you are not Chinshimi, you are a man. Clap, clap, I don't know which passenger took the lead. In the waiting room, there was sudden applause. Immediately, there was a round of applause. Those who eat melons are obviously very satisfied with this ending. Gao Wenshue quickly pulled Lu Qingshan and ran out of the waiting room. Qingshan, let's go back. Lu Qingshan just remembered an important thing. Brother Wen, when I came, I asked my grandfather for 20 cents, and it cost me all the money for the ride. Besides, when our commune goes to the county, there are only 2 bus trips a day. He ran from the village to the commune, and he hurried to catch the last train. Then let's walk back. Gao Wenshue looked to the north, and at this moment, he felt like returning home. It was already the next morning when the two returned to the small mountain village called Jayapagu. At this time, the traffic is inconvenient, and it is normal to walk dozens of miles. Sanfeng, I'm going to your house to propose marriage right now. Although Gao Wenshue was tired enough, his spirit was in a state of excitement. He took out a crumpled remittance slip from his pocket and shook it. Look, this is the manuscript fee I received. 12 yuan is enough to buy 4 boxes of presents for door-to-door marriage proposals. Brother Wen, are you stupid? How can you go about proposing marriage by yourself? Later, you go to the supply and marketing cooperative to buy gifts, and then find the village chief uncle and aunt to be matchmakers for you. Also, the marriage proposal is going to my grandfather's house, you know. Gao Shueshue nodded vigorously. Yes, I will go to the village head, Qingshan, and buy you candy when I come back. The village head, Zhangguofu, is Dadu's father. He has a good relationship with Lu Qingshan's family, and he is also a village cadre, so he is the perfect introducer. Lu Qingshan was in the mood to take a good look at the small mountain village where he was born. Every house has a large yard surrounded by wicker. In the whole village, there are all mud houses with mud walls and grass roofs. Poor, thieves pull the poor. However, it was all of these that appeared in Lu Qingshan's dreams countless times, making him unforgettable all his life. Lu Qingshan's house is the one in the west of the backside of the village, and the house is also the most dilapidated in the village. Because his father was seriously ill at the time and didn't survive it, his mother, Lin Ji, was the only adult leading a litter of children. If it wasn't for the care of the villagers and the care of grandparents, several of them might starve to death. Standing in front of the crooked gate made of wicker, Lu Qingshan looked at the two small thatched houses that were unfamiliar but familiar. His eyes were a little hot again. Earth-yellow mud walls, grinning broken windows, the paint on the window frames is almost gone, and they are still the kind of windows with two upper and lower windows. Because it is summer now, the upper door was pushed out and supported by a wicker stick. Under the eaves of the house, there is another nest of swallows. Two big swallows are busily carrying small flying insects in their mouths, stuffing them into the four big yellow mouths in the nest. Lu Qingshan couldn't help feeling hot in his heart. His mother worked so hard to raise 4 children, how similar to this scene before him. Trying to calm down the turbulent mood, Lu Qingshan pushed open the firewood gate and entered the courtyard with a creak. Whoa! Big tongue. Rhubarb. Lu Qingshan hugged the dog's head and rubbed it vigorously. This is the big yellow dog he raised since he was a child, and he has no name, because it is a yellow-haired dog, so it is called Big Yellow. Don't talk about dogs. In those days, even the children in the family didn't have proper names. This rhubarb dog has been with him throughout his schooling career. It wasn't until he was a sophomore, when he came home on vacation, that he heard that the rhubarb was gone. It is said that someone saw rhubarb running into the mountains and never came back. An old dog will never die at home. This dog is benevolent and righteous. Grandpa, who was completely blind at the time, slammed the stick in his hand and said these words. Rhubarb, I'm back. Lu Qingshan said excitedly. The big yellow dog obviously couldn't understand the mood of the little master at the moment. It just licked vigorously and washed Lu Qingshan's face again. San Feng'er is back. When the door rang, a middle-aged woman with short hair came out of the house with a bucket of pig food. Mom! Lu Qingshan couldn't help but open his arms and rushed over. Lin Ji quickly put down the pig food bucket in her hand, and let her son throw herself into her arms. She gently touched the back of Lu Qingshan's head with her hand, and said softly, Sanfenger, what's wrong? Did you get wronged outside? Lu Qingshan raised his face and looked at his mother. He was just in his early 40s, his temples were already gray, and crow's feet appeared at the corners of his eyes. For this family and these children, the mother has worked so hard. Mother, I have not been wronged, and our family will not be wronged in the future. Lu Qingshan raised his head and said loudly. Hey, why does my son seem a little different today? It seems that he is no longer that ignorant monkey, but a little manly. Lin Ji gently hooked her hair with her little finger, tidied it behind her ears, and then said, Sanfenger, wash your hands in the house and put it on the table for dinner. Mother will feed the pigs first. Mom, let me do it. Lu Qingshan wiped some wet eyes, then picked up the pig food bucket, and strode towards the pigsty in the southwest corner of the yard. Slow down, you kid. Lin Ji exhorted, and the smile on her face grew stronger. It seems that the son has really grown up. This is the most gratifying thing for a mother. No matter how hard and tiring it is worth it. There were 2 half-sized pigs in the pen. Hearing the sound, he got up groaningly, and then circled around the pig trough, screaming so hard that Lu Qingshan had no chance to pour the pig food into the trough. It was Lin Ji who came over, barking twice, attracting the 2 pigs, and then Lu Qingshan poured the pig food that had been diluted with liquid soup, and splashed a lot of water, messing him all over. I haven't fed pigs for a long time, and the technique is a bit rough. The main reason is that the pig food at this time is all thin, soupy, and all kinds of cooked pig food floating on it, only a small amount of corn noodles. Hang chi, this pair of pig brothers are quite delicious. But after scooping up all the dry stuff, he didn't work so hard. His long mouth swam back and forth in the soup, and at the end he swung it twice vigorously in dissatisfaction, splashing Lu Qingshan all over again. It would be nice if you can drink enough water to fill your stomach. These days, people can't get enough to eat. Lu Qingshan muttered secretly. Lin Ji was still experienced, took a gourd ladle, scooped up some wheat bran, and sprinkled it in the pig trough. The two brothers ate again and again. Scattered wheat bran a few times, at least it got all the pig food into his belly, so Lu Qingshan carried the empty bucket and followed his mother back. I saw Rhubarb running towards the door again, and Lu Qingshan followed closely. Oncoming was a tall and slender young woman, wearing a floral shirt that had been washed white, a pair of fat blue trousers, a braid hanging down her waist, and a large bundle of hair on her shoulders. Forage. A clear and refreshing face, absolutely plain, but very beautiful, especially a pair of eyes, very agile. It should be said that Lu Qingshan's two sisters have inherited good genes from their parents, and they are better than the other. Of course, Lu Qingshan's appearance is not bad, with edges and corners. Sister. As if in a lifetime, Lu Qingshan rushed forward. Looking at the emotional younger brother, Lu Jinfeng dropped the fodder, and Danfeng's eyes almost stood up. Qingshan, who bullied you, tell my sister, she will clean him up. While talking, she lifted up the skirt of her clothes and wiped the muddy spots on Lu Qingshan's face when he was feeding the pigs. Sister, no one bullies me. Lu Qingshan shook his head embarrassingly. It's quite a grown man, and still so sentimental, but today is a bit special, he really can't control it. Sister, I just met brother Wen, and he said that he will propose marriage tomorrow. Lu Qingshan followed in a low voice. Two red clouds immediately appeared on Lu Jinfeng's pretty face, which made Lu Qingshan secretly chuckle. Probably a little annoyed by his younger brother's laughter, Lu Jinfeng pinched Lu Qingshan's ear and twisted it, then dragged him into the room to wash his face. My ears hurt a little, but my heart feels warm. The half of the room when entering the house is the kitchen, with an earthen stove, and a simple wooden shelf is built on it, where pots, pans and the like are placed. Second sister Lu Yinfeng is sitting on a small bench in front of the stove, lighting a fire. She absent-mindedly filled the stove pit with firewood, while looking at the English book in her hand. In this year's college entrance examination, English is officially included as a subject of the college entrance examination. Her failure in the college entrance examination is due to her poor English. Second sister. Lu Qingshan called out. 18-year-old Lu Yinfeng raised her head, then lowered her eyes to read the book. She has two braids hanging down her chest, her eyebrows are very delicate, but she looks too thin. There is no way around this, it is too difficult to find a fat man right now. Brother, I'm hungry, when will dinner be served? Feeling the hem of his clothes being pulled, Lu Qingshan looked down and saw a little one, looking up at him with his round face. This is his little sister, also the old lump in the family, Lu Kaifeng, who is only 6 years old this year. In my memory, apart from crying, it was her little belly that never seemed to be full. Passing the little girl's head, Lu Qingshan looked around the small kitchen. A family lives neatly together, no matter how hard life is, it is still a kind of happiness. End of this chapter. Hello 1983 Chapter 3, Marriage Proposal, Seek Collection. Chapter 3 Marriage Proposal, for Collection. The room looks very empty, probably because of the lack of furniture. After entering the house, to the south is a large kong with a long kong, covered with kong mats. On the wall at the top of the kong, there is a New Year picture of a big fat boy holding a big red carp. On the top of the kong are neatly folded quilts, and in the middle of the kong is a square table for eating. There are two small square wooden cabinets on the floor, on which are neatly placed mirrors, wooden combs, grates and other daily utensils. There is also a milky white cream bottle, and a box of rouge powder boxes that are usually reluctant to use, with a pattern of China flying to the moon printed on it. The walls are all pasted with newspapers. It has been more than half a year, and it looks a bit old. On the wall above the cabinet, there is a picture frame with more than a dozen black and white photos in it. And then nothing else. This home is so simple, but tidy and warm. Lu Qingshan's eyes fell on the family portrait in the middle of the mirror frame. Sitting right in the middle of the grandpa's lap, the silly little boy was Lu Qingshan, and the little one in the arms of the grandma was the younger sister Lu Kaifeng, who was just 1 year old at the time and couldn't walk yet. Originally, after the mother gave birth to Lu Qingshan, she was not going to have another child, so she went to the commune hospital to wear a ring according to the custom at that time. In the end, I wore it for a few years, and I don't know when I lost the ring, and then gave birth to a younger sister. Behind Grandma and Grandpa, stood Mother Lin Ji and Father Lu Zijuan. Seeing his father's young and handsome face, Lu Qingshan's eyes turned red, and he thought to himself, "Dad, don't worry, I will support this family in the future." Eat. The fourth child, Lu Kaifeng, picked up her small enamel bowl, and when she saw a pot of boiled eggplant in a clear soup with little water on the table, her little face collapsed, and she muttered childishly, "Mom, I want to eat chicken cake." Eating an egg custard is an extravagant hope, and as for eating meat, the little girl dare not even think about it. Lu Qingshan rubbed his little sister's lid with some distress. "Stop shouting, I will let you eat meat every day from now on." "What?" Lu Kaifeng didn't understand. She blinked her big hairy eyes and asked, "Brother, does our family celebrate New Year every day?" No, King Li Chuang went to Beijing to celebrate the New Year every day, but he was beaten away after 18 days. We can't learn from it. Regardless of their young age, the children of the Lu family have received the best education in the village because of their father, so they know more than ordinary children. Fourth, hurry up and eat. You still want to eat meat every day. You are so beautiful that you dare not think so in your dreams. The elder sister carried the older sister into the Kong, and the family began to have lunch. The big golden pancakes made my throat a little louder after eating, and the vegetable soup was even less oily, but Lu Qingshan ate it very deliciously. He still looked at this and that from time to time, smiled, and then continued to eat happily. "Yin Feng, stop reading while eating." Lin Ji glanced at the second girl, feeling a little complicated. This child, after failing the college entrance examination, became a demon. If the score is not bad, you will be admitted to university, and a college student will be born in the family. You must know that even the entire commune does not have a single college student, which is almost unprecedented. However, if I really pass the exam, I'm afraid it will be even more worrying, because the family really has no money at all. Forget it, don't think about it, there must be a way for the car to reach the mountain. At that time, even if it is a waste of money, it will still have to pay for the children to go to college, right? Recalling her husband's entrustment before his death, Lin Ji became more determined. Lu Qingshan also admires him as the second sister, who has a lot of energy in learning. Unfortunately, my fate was bad. I took the exam for 3 years in a row, and every year I missed the exam by a few points. However, it is different now. I have dealt with foreigners for more than 10 years, and it is more than enough to guide my second sister to learn English. So Lu Qingshan swallowed the big pancake he was chewing, waved his hand and said, "Second sister, you can't learn English like this, you have to read it aloud." Learning foreign languages in this era, most of them end up learning dumb foreign languages. No way, many English teachers are not good at oral English, and few of them can listen to English tapes. No matter how hard students try, it is difficult to improve. Lu Yinfeng raised her head and glanced at her younger brother, without saying a word, but that look fully expressed her thoughts. "What do you know, a kid who just graduated from junior high school?" Lu Qingshan patted his chest. "Second sister, I will take care of your English from now on." As a result, the elder sister next to him stabbed him, and said angrily, "Qingshan, you can do it, the cowhide is so bang bang, whether you can be admitted to high school this time is not a question." Not only that, even Xiao Kaifeng pouted at him. As the only man in the family, Lu Qingshan also wanted face, so he happened to be full, so he hurriedly got off the table. "I'll see my grandparents." "Brother, wait, I'm going too." The fourth child also quickly slipped out from the edge of the Kong to the ground. "The little guy is crazy, there is nothing delicious at home, let's see if I can go to my grandparents to hang out." Grandma's house hangs in a small basket on the beam of the house, and it seems that there are slot cakes. There must be. Lu Qingshan led a small tale. As soon as he went out of the gate, he saw Biaozi squatting furtively in the shade of the fence and waiting. He stepped forward and gave Lu Qingshan a small basket, then waved and ran away. He usually dare not enter Lu Qingshan's house. He was pinched by the elder sister once before, and his arm was twisted and purple, leaving a psychological shadow. Looking at the several palm-sized crucian melon seeds in the basket, and the black loach weighing more than a caddy, Lu Qingshan knew that he had brought all the fish for him. "Brother, find a glass bottle, I want to raise loaches." Lu Kaifeng squatted next to the basket, trying to reach out to grab it, but she was a little afraid. These fish are of course good for the eldest sister's body, but if they are really taken home, they must be fed to the chickens again. It's not that the fish is not delicious, the key is that if there is no oil to cook this thing, the fishy smell will increase. Well, it's better to take it to grandparents, and when it's ready, I'll bring back 2 for my eldest sister. Carrying the basket, Lu Qingshan pushed open the wooden door of the house next door. Grandpa's house is next to his house. The small yard is also tidy. Grandma is a diligent old lady with little feet. At that time, those who could bind their feet were not ordinary people, and Grandpa was even more amazing. He was a soldier and made meritorious service when he was young. Later, due to injury, he lost contact with the troops and stayed in this small valley. Entering the house, the furnishings are similar to those in Lu Qingshan's house, with an old clock on the top of the cupboard. In the middle is a bust of a white porcelain chairman. There are 2 more blue and white pots in the room, one with a feather duster stuck in it, and the other with a few pheasant feathers stuck in it. On the window sill, there are still several pots of flowers with big green leaves, and one of them is blooming with gorgeous flowers. Although the days are hard, the grandparents have not been completely grounded in their aspirations. "Grandpa, Grandma!" Lu Qingshan yelled at the 2 old people sitting on the kong, feeling a little excited again. "Yo, it's Qingshan, have you eaten yet?" Sitting cross-legged on the kong, Lu Shikue yelled. Sitting there, you can tell that the old man has a big frame, and a standard face with Chinese characters. Also, a pair of eyes are squinted. "Eat, eat." Lu Qingshan responded while carefully looking at the old man. When he was a child, he spent half of his time sleeping at his grandfather's house at night, and he had a deep relationship. In the past 2 years, my grandfather had cataracts in his eyes, his eyesight deteriorated badly, and he could see things blurry. After another 2 years, he would be completely blind. It was too late when the conditions at home eased up and I wanted to have another operation. No, I must get a sum of money as soon as possible to fix my grandfather's cataract. Also, the life at home is too hard now, the younger sister is sallow and thin, she must be malnourished, and the quality of life must be improved as soon as possible. Grandma took the basket and poured it into an enamel basin, then stuffed half a cucumber into Xiao Caifeng's hands, and half a bowl of sauce was placed on the small kong table. Just a meal. Seeing that the imaginary trough cake turned into a green cucumber, Xiao Caifeng felt a little wronged, so she asked her grandma for a glass bottle to raise loach. However, the family can't eat a bottle of canned food all year round, so where can I find a glass bottle? Pour out my wine bottle to Caifeng. The ginseng in it has been soaked for several years. It's better to soak the root of cucumber. This old man has only one problem, he is especially protective of the calf. As for the requests of the younger generation, what can be done must be done, and what cannot be done must be done by creating conditions. Looking at the little old girl holding the glass bottle and going out to show off to her friends with a smile on her face, Lu Qingshan lay on the kong, unconsciously fell asleep, and slept very soundly. Until I was woken up by a burst of talking, I checked the time, it was already past 3 o'clock in the afternoon. As soon as he got up, he saw Gao Wenxue who was holding something in his hand and his face was a little swollen, looking at him stupidly and smiling. This guy is really impatient, didn't he tell him to propose marriage tomorrow, why can't he wait all night? Lu Qingshan got off the ground, greeted the captain Zhang Guofu and his wife, called uncle and aunt, and went to pour water. There is no tea, just boiled water, and I poured 2 cups out of an enamel jar printed with, "Serve the people." There are only 2 jars at home, Gao Wenxue should stop drinking, anyway, he will not be an outsider in the future. Grandma said that everyone sat on the edge of the kong. The old lady was from a wealthy family before liberation, so of course she understood, so there was a smile in the wrinkles on her face. The captain's aunt is also eloquent, and she quickly explained the matter clearly. Naturally, grandparents have no reason not to agree. After drinking a glass of water, the captain and his wife had to go to work in the field, so they left first. Grandma saw off the guests, and when she returned to the house, she was so happy from ear to ear, she hurriedly said, literature. When the winter is free, we will arrange a happy event for you and Jinfeng. The old couple are still very satisfied with this gentle grandson-in-law. Gao Wenxue pushed up the glasses with his hands, feeling a little panicked. Wait until winter, it will still be a few months. When the time comes, the child will be born soon, right? You know, at this time, the atmosphere is still very old-fashioned. If you have a big belly and marry a child, your spine will have to be punctured. So, after building up his courage, Gao Wenxue said, Grandpa and Grandma, why don't you get married earlier? Isn't Jinfeng pregnant? Grandma was a little deaf, and asked suspiciously, It's broken, what's broken? Although Grandpa's eyes are not good, his ears are good. He wiped the Kong twice, picked up the broom bumps, and saw a vague figure in front of him, so he knocked twice. It's a pity that you are still a cultural person, so you don't pay attention to how you do things. Gao Wenxue stared blankly at the old man hitting his future brother-in-law's head twice with a broom, with a confused look on his face. Is it the wrong person? Master, why are you beating me? Lu Qingshan hugged his head, glared at Gao Wenxue vigorously, and saw clearly, I did this for you. End of this chapter. Hello 1983 Chapter 4, Brother-in-law, let's talk about life. Chapter 4 Brother-in-law, let's talk about life. Brother Wen, you are getting married, do you have any money in your pocket? Following Gao Wenxue out of his grandfather's house, Lu Qingshan felt the need to remind the prospective elder brother-in-law beside him. Don't just know how to be silly, you must pour a ladle of cold water to make him sober. Money? Gao Wenxue was pulled back to reality. He reached out to touch his blue trouser pocket, and took out a few 10-cent notes and 2 steel coins. That's all that's left. Lu Qingshan couldn't help but pouted and said, It's still less than 50 cents, and you want to marry my sister. Pushing down his glasses, Gao Wenxue put the money back in an embarrassing manner, and then said solemnly, I'm going back to write the manuscript right now, trying to earn more manuscript fees. Qingshan, don't worry, I will definitely marry your sister in the door. You can pull it off, the manuscript fee is said to be earned if you earn it. Lu Qingshan rolled his eyes, raised a finger and said, Brother Wen, even if you can earn the manuscript fee, but the water in the distance cannot quench your thirst, my grandfather said that within a month, you and my sister will get married. Gao Wenxue was also completely dumbfounded, his head drooped, and he really didn't have a spell. After a long time, he finally said with a sigh of relief, I called my family to mention this matter last month, and my family gave me 2 ways, either to go back to the city, or to sever the relationship. Start a family. Oh, what else? Lu Qingshan is quite normal when he thinks about it. It seems that the pressure on this brother-in-law-to-be is not small. Now that he can choose the current path, he is considered responsible. The 2 of them were walking and chatting, when they met a group of small bean buns playing on the edge of the gutter. There are more than a dozen little dolls, several of whom are naked, without even a curtain, just so bold and unrestrained. Elder brother. Lu Kaifeng was also among them, holding a glass bottle in her hand, and 2 loaches were swimming up and down inside. Gao Wenxue leaned over, took out a few pieces of candy from his pocket, put them into the small pocket on the chest of Xiao Laosi, and stuffed 2 pieces into Lu Qingshan's hand. Ah, it's fruit candy. Xiao Kaifeng squinted her big eyes into 2 slits with joy, peeled off a piece and stuffed it into her mouth, smacked hard twice, and said happily, Thank you Brother Wenxue. There was a sound of swallowing saliva all around, and there was a little girl with bare buttocks, sucking her fingers while asking shyly, Kaifeng, is the sugar sweet? Really couldn't stand it anymore, Lu Qingshan handed out the 2 candies in his hand, then, boys have 1 piece, girls have 1 piece, take turns, and no one is allowed to grab it. The little bean buns cheered. As for the question of whether the candy is dirty from your mouth to my mouth, no one thinks about it at all. It is good to have candy. Lu Kaifeng was not at all squawky, and gave a piece of fruit candy to a little girl wearing a belly band beside her. This is her best friend Shanxing. Shanxing's life is miserable. Both parents are educated youths. A few years ago, Shanxing's mother was given a goal of returning to the city, and Shanxing's mother was given to her father. As a result, the left and was never heard from again. Then, Shanxing's mother went crazy. Seeing Shan Xing holding the candy in her hand, Xiao Kaifeng couldn't help saying, "Eat, Shan Xing, eat it, it's so sweet." "Kaifeng, I'll save it and go home and feed it to my mother." The little girl had a timid voice, holding the candy tightly in her hand, and trotted around, as if she was afraid that others would it. Looking at the thin back of the little girl, Gao Wenxue and Lu Qingshan sighed together, and the same figure emerged in their minds, Lu Jinfeng. Fortunately, Lu Jinfeng will not become the next Shan Xingyang. But soon, the noise around them pulled them back. "Hey, good guy, 4 or 5 little boys are already twisted into a ball, fighting hard. Don't fight." Lu Qingshan yelled, separated the children, and finally dragged Si Huzi who was lying on the ground up. A little guy next to him cried angrily, and pointed at Si Huzi, "Brother Qingshan, he doesn't give me sugar." Everyone also complained in a hurry, saying that the 4 tigers were playing tricks. Lu Qingshan said with a serious face, "It's agreed to be your turn, Si Huzi, spit out the sugar." Si Huzi wiped his nose, and said aggrieved, "Bala, Brother Qingshan, I accidentally swallowed candy." "Beat him." After hearing this, the kids waved their little fists one by one. It was really a murder caused by a piece of candy. Okay, stop beating, I will give you another piece of candy, but from now on, you must follow my instructions." Little Kaifeng is quite considerate, a piece of candy can be exchanged for a child Wang Dang Dang. Lu Qingshan smiled, stroked the braid of the 4th child, and then took Gao Wenxue to his residence, a dilapidated small courtyard. Gao Wenxue is currently staying at a villager's house. Originally, there was an educated youth camp. When Shan Xing's parents got married, Gao Wenxue moved out. This yard is easy, there is no gate at all, and the wicker fence is crooked. While passing under the window, I saw a man lying on his back on the kong, shirtless, sound asleep. Lu Qingshan glanced at it, feeling a little hot-eyed. I said, "Uncle Ganzi, your pants are all open, and the birds are wandering out by themselves." This is the well-known bachelor in the village, Zhang Ganzi. Entering through the open door, Zhang Ganzi, who was sleeping in Nankong, didn't wake up. Beikong is Gao Wenxue's residence, and it is tidy. The most conspicuous thing is the piles of books and magazines stacked on the top of the kong. There is a small kong table on the kong, with an ink bottle and a stack of old paper on it. The front side of the paper has been filled with words, and now the back side is used. Lu Qingshan leaned over and glanced at it. It was a detective story, and the content was a bit similar to Passenger in Handcuffs. This is going to be submitted to Story Club. The fee for this magazine is very high. Gao Shueshua smiled and introduced that the last manuscript fee was given by the Story Club magazine. Lu Qingshan shook his head secretly. The reason why he followed Gao Wenxue was to have a good talk with this prospective brother-in-law and beat his elm head. If you ask Lu Qingshan to write something, he is definitely not as good as Gao Wenxue. However, he has vision and experience, and knows the direction of future development. "Brother Wenwen, have you read Lu Yao's Life?" After thinking for a while, Lu Qingshan found the entry point. "Of course I've seen it, it's written just right, it's worthy of everyone's handwriting, it's really well written." Gao Shueshue's fiery eyes seemed to pass through thick glasses. He rummaged through the pile of books, and soon found a Harvest magazine, and said excitedly, "This is the 3rd issue of last year. The novel of life will be published here." "It's not written by you, why are you so excited, and you almost became the Gao Jialan written in the book, you know." Lu Qingshan is ready to talk about life with Gao Shueshue. "Brother Wenwen, do you want to become a great writer like Lu Yao?" An ordinary world is actually enough for Lu Yao to win the Nobel Prize for Literature. Unfortunately, he died young at the age of 42. It is said that after Lu Yao finished writing The Ordinary World, he threw the ballpoint pen out of the window viciously. This book also completely exhausted all his efforts. In poverty, Lu Yao finished this masterpiece and said, "Don't win any more awards. If I win the Nobel Prize for Literature, I really don't have the money to accept it." Is it bitter? Sad not. After listening to Lu Qingshan's words, Gao Wenshue's body trembled, and it took him a long time to murmur, "It's difficult, it's too difficult." He has to go to the fields every day to do farm work, and at night to burn oil to create. He already feels a little exhausted. Okay, Brother Wenxue, you can create with peace of mind in the future. This family has me. Lu Qingshan patted his small chest, no muscles. Seeing Gao Wenshue's slightly dull gaze, Lu Qingshan knew that he didn't believe him, just like the eldest and second sisters at home didn't believe him. Originally, a boy and a half, can he still turn the world upside down? Brother Wenwen, there is no future for you to write detective stories. You don't have this kind of experience, and writing will be very tiring. I know what is the hottest thing now. It is educated youth literature, it is scar literature, and you have personal experience in this regard. Why don't you write these? Why don't you write about yourself, about my sister, and about life in Jayapagu? If you chose to go back to the city yesterday, have you ever thought about how my sister's life will be in the future? Gao Wenxing opened his mouth, with a complicated look on his face. Zhang Ganzi, who was sleeping soundly on the South Kong, turned over and continued to sleep. Brother Wenwen, I don't know literature, but I know that only true feelings can move readers the most. Lu Qingshan did not answer his question, but continued to talk about literature with him. Boom! Gao Wenshue's mind seemed to be struck by lightning, and he suddenly had a feeling of enlightenment. Yes, why can't I write about my own life? Lu Qingshan decided to strike while the iron was hot. Brother Wenwen, I will sing you a song, listen to it. There is a girl in the village named Xiaofeng, who is beautiful and kind, with big beautiful eyes and a thick and long whip. When the song was over, Gao Shueshue, who was facing him, was already blushing, his neck was thick, his forehead was bulging, his eyes were red, and he muttered. How can this be? The educated youth you sang must be an individual and cannot represent the whole. He is simply, is. Is he a scumbag? Lu Qingshan hecked twice. Yes, it is scum, scum. Gao Wenxue said with righteous indignation. At this time, there was a movement from the Nankong. What's the noise? Are you asking people to sleep? Only then did Gao Wenxue lower his voice, but he seemed extremely excited. Qingshan, thank you brother. I will write it now, and my name is Xiaofeng. By the way, copy down the song you just sang for me too, I use it in the book. Looking at the extremely excited and even a little impatient Gao Wenxue in front of him, Lu Qingshan also had a smile on his face. He knew that his eldest brother-in-law's confidence and fighting spirit had been completely ignited by himself, but he still gave a few words of advice. Brother Wenwen, creation doesn't happen overnight, you have to combine work and rest, and you can't wear yourself out. Then go to my house for dinner. If you are worried about others gossiping, go to my grandfather's house to eat first, and then go to my house after you get married. After chatting for a few words, seeing that Gao Wenxue had already started to write like flying on the small table, Lu Qingshan left with interest. Before leaving, Lu Qingshan offered to borrow bicycles. But the other party is already immersed in his own world at this moment, and has no reaction at all. Looking at the person in Nankong again, he fell asleep on his back again, and there was a fly crawling around the corner of his mouth. Lu Qingshan shook his head involuntarily. If he is so lazy, it would be strange not to be a bachelor for the rest of his life. The new book list now needs to be rewarded to be on the list. If you think it suits your appetite, feel free to donate some rewards. Statistics will be added every week and weekend. The master will add a new chapter. If the number of rewards reaches 100, a new chapter will be added. I hope everyone will support it. End of this chapter. Hello 1983 Chapter 5, Clivia. Chapter 5 Clivia. Hey, Qingshan, why did you push the literary bicycle here? Don't break it. In the yard, Lu Jinfeng saw his younger brother pushing a bicycle in, and immediately recognized Gao Wenshue's broken bicycle. After all, in the entire Jayapagu, apart from the captain's family's bicycle, Gao Wenshue's is the one, and she has ridden it a lot. At that time, if there was a new bicycle, it would be more arrogant than driving a BMW and Audi in later generations. Sister, you haven't been married yet, why are you starting to protect your family? Lu Qingshan made a joke. The result in exchange was that Lu Jinfeng pinched the ear and twisted it half a circle. It hurts, it hurts. This time it really hurts. Lu Qingshan grinned. Sister, I will ride a bicycle to sell vegetables in the county tomorrow. Anyway, I can't eat the vegetables in the garden. Let's see if I can exchange some money. For the time being, there is no good way to come to Kiandur, and it happens to be summer vacation, so he is going to give it a try. By the way, go to the county town to see if you can find any good business opportunities. The quality of life at home needs to be improved. The eldest sister also needs money for her marriage, the second sister needs money for her studies, and the grandfather also needs money for eye treatment. He has roughly some plans in his mind, but it will take time to implement them. In a short period of time, no effect can be seen. Moreover, if he wants to do something, he also needs startup capital. He urgently needs to earn the first pot of gold. Hearing what his younger brother said, Lu Jinfeng let go and blew on his reddened ear. Qingshan, the county town is 4 or 50 miles away, and you have never been there. Besides, can you ride a bicycle? Sister, just take a look at it. After finishing speaking, Lu Qingshan flew into the car, rode his bicycle for a walk around the street, and performed a stunt of bending over to pick up dirt while holding the handlebar with one hand. All right, let's see if you can. Lu Jinfeng complained, but with a smile on his face, he went back to the house to cook with confidence. When it was almost time for dinner, Grandma brought Grandpa over, carrying big and small parcels in his hand. Lu Qingshan took a look. These were 4 boxes of presents from the brother-in-law to be, except for the 2 bottles of wine that were left behind by Grandpa, the remaining 3 were brought here. 2 packs of trough cake, 2 caddies of sugar, plus 2 bottles of canned food, 1 bottle of hawthorn, 1 bottle of orange slices. Old Seat Siphon's eyes were rounded at that time. Put these things on the Kong. Grandma touched the little head of the 4th child and said, this is for your eldest sister to make up. Our Kaifeng is sensible, so I can't compete with the eldest sister. The little 4th's face twitched all of a sudden, but he still nodded. Grandma, I know, the eldest sister has a baby in her belly. This girl is a ghost. Just now when the adults were chatting, she understood it just by playing with her ears. As a result, Lu Jinfeng got a big blush in the face, and Lin Ji hurriedly warned, Siphonger, please don't go out and tell others. Don't talk. Little Lousy raised his fist and said loudly. Finally, half of the trough cakes and canned sugar should be given back to grandparents. In this era of scarce supplies, it is really difficult to eat good food. Therefore, it tastes extra fragrant, and it has been able to remind people for decades. Dad, Mom, look at your elders. What should I do with the Fonger's marriage? Lin Ji poured water for the 2 old people, and then started a small family meeting. The participants are mainly grandparents, Lin Ji and Lu Jinfeng. As for Lu Yinfeng, Lu Qingshan and Lu Kaifeng, they also attended the meeting. Grandpa spoke first. Literature, no one is here at home. According to the old rules, he is the door-to-door son-in-law of our old Lu family, so we are responsible for handling it. If we follow the old rules, even if they have children, they will have to follow our old Lu's family name. Lu Qingshan blinked. The old man has set the tone, but this idea is still a bit old-fashioned. Of course, that's what he thought, but he didn't dare to say it out. After all, there were still small bumps knocked out by broom bumps on his head. After hearing this, Lin Ji was slightly taken aback, and her complexion became even paler. Arranging a marriage is really too difficult for this family who can barely make ends meet. Even if you don't prepare a banquet and send some wedding candies to relatives and friends, the 2 children must make new clothes, right? Gotta make some new quilts. Where can I get this money? Although the land was allocated last winter, everyone planted their own, and their enthusiasm was high. In autumn, they will definitely be able to harvest a lot of food and pay more money. But it will take several months. De Fonger's belly will definitely show up at that time. It's absolutely impossible. Even her mother will be ashamed to face others. Lu Qingshan has been staring at his mother, and seeing the frown of his mother, he can't help but feel distressed. For this family, mother is too difficult. Thinking that a month later, he was admitted to high school, and his mother had to support 2 high school students by herself. After the new year, the eldest sister gave birth, and the burden of the family was all on the mother's already thin shoulders. So much so that when Lu Qingshan finished college, his mother was completely exhausted and collapsed in the corn field. And then, never stood up. No, all of this will never happen again. Lu Qingshan murmured silently in his heart. Obviously, Lu Jinfeng also knew about the situation at home, and said, "Grandma, I'm marrying, not recruiting a son-in-law, so I should go to the literature side to get married?" No. Grandpa spoke again, "Literature and Ganzi live in the north and south Kong, and the house is similar to a pigsty. Ganzi is an old bachelor, who knows what kind of he can do." Lu Qingshan thinks about the scene he saw just now. Who can rest assured that Uncle Gon is still walking birds in broad daylight? Look for a house again. Now everyone in the village is crowded, and there is no vacant house. As for building a new house, even Lu Qingshan dare not think about it now. At this time, I heard Grandma say, "Jier, I'll give this to you, go to the county to exchange some money, and make arrangements for Dauphinger's marriage." I saw Grandma taking out a small cloth bag from her arms while talking, and opening it, there were double gold bracelets inside. The surface is a bit old and not so golden, but Baoguang is restrained and still attracts attention. "Mom, you can't do it, you absolutely can't do it." Lin Ji shook her hands repeatedly when she saw it. Of course she knew that this was one of the jewelry that the old lady was given by her natal family when she got married. In the past few years, other items have been sold off one after another to subsidize the family. Now, this is the only thought left. And Lu Jinfeng also stepped forward with red eyes, rewrapped the bracelet, and stuffed it back into Grandma's hand. "Grandma, even if I'm not married, I can't sell this thing. It's all new things now. When the time comes, buy some wedding candies and have a reunion dinner with our family, that's all. Well, this thing will be passed on to you sooner or later anyway." The old lady patted the back of Lu Jinfeng's hand and said with concern. Then the old man also said, "Okay, it's settled like this. This bracelet is left alone. It's not suitable for eating or drinking. It's better to sell it to Jinfeng for business." Now, no one dares to refute. At home, the old man's words mean everything he says. For a while, the atmosphere in the room was a bit dull, only Lu Yinfeng was still competing with English books with her head down. "Kaifeng, I'll give you a trough cake." Grandma loved her little granddaughter and opened her share of pastries. The outside is wrapped with yellow oil paper, and the four sides are wrapped with thin paper ropes. Although it is separated by a layer of paper, the aroma of pastries still radiates. The things at that time were all real materials without any additives. In fact, the fourth child has long been greedy. He glanced at his mother, then quickly took it, put it in his mouth, and gnawed it slowly. "Brother, you also have a taste, just a small sip, and I will send the rest to Shanxing." After eating half of the sweet and soft glutinous trough cake, the little guy brought the trough cake to Lu Qingshan's mouth. Although later generations have eaten and seen it, but smelling the aroma of the pastries, Lu Qingshan felt that this was the best taste in the world. "Go, give it all to Shanxing." Lu Qingshan was satisfied after hearing this, waved his hand and said. Seeing the fourth child bouncing out of the house, Grandma sighed. "Fortunately, Wenxue is a good boy. He didn't leave our family's defender behind like Shan Xing's father, so this marriage is even more unacceptable." Hasty. Alas, Lin Ji could only let out a helpless sigh. At this moment, the fourth child ran back bouncing back, followed by another little yellow-haired girl, Shan Xinger. Shan Xinger bowed very sensibly, and said timidly, "My mother told me to come over, thank you grandparents, thank you Aunt Lin. Her mother is crazy, but she is not always crazy. Usually, she looks similar to a normal person, except that there are always a few days every month when she falls ill, and sings songs in her mouth, singing all over the place. Look, what a sensible child." Grandma touched her brown and dry hair affectionately, and said lovingly. At this time, the little mouth of the fourth child began to report again, "Grandma, mother, sister, the clivia is blooming in the yard, it looks so beautiful." "The clivia is blooming, okay, Grandma nodded and lifted her skirt to wipe the corners of her eyes. Even the corners of Grandpa's eyes twitched a few times. "Clivia, Zijuan, my good son." Lin Ji also had red eyes. This clivia planted by her husband was the only thought of the family. Lu Qingshan is also full of sadness, seeing things and thinking about people, things are right and people are wrong, how can it be human? Go and see, Zijuan knows that there is a happy event at home. The old man's voice trembled a little. Lu Qingshan hurried up to help his grandfather, and everyone came to the yard together. In the yard, there is a small pergola, inside which are placed 1 large, 3 small and 4 potted flowers, all of which are clivia. Several small plants were transplanted from big pots one after another, just like children at home, growing up day by day. Lin Ji took care of these potted flowers very carefully, loosening the soil, fertilizing, watering, just like taking care of her husband back then. The flowers also know how to repay, so the growth is gratifying. The plump leaves are black and green, and the surface is shining with a layer of luster. It was one of the small pots that bloomed, and the flowers bloomed beautifully. On a pavilion style, there was a circle of gorgeous flowers, fully blooming the color and vitality of life. It looks good, it looks good. Grandma murmured while shedding tears. Mother also turned around, and gently wiped the crystals from the corners of her eyes. Lu Qingshan, who was next to her, seemed to hear her mother muttering softly, "Gentlemen, son, gentlemen." At this moment, a flash of inspiration flashed in his mind, and he said with surprise, "Grandpa, Grandma, Mom, Sister, these flowers are the great wealth my father left us." End of this chapter. Hello 1983 Chapter 6, Into Town. Chapter 6 Entering the City. In the early 1980s, in Chongqing in northeast China, there was a kind of flower that was sold at sky-high prices, that is clivia. At that time, a potted flower was fired for more than 10,000 yuan, or even more than 100,000 yuan. Can you believe it? That was the 1980s, when households with 10,000 yuan were still extremely scarce, and even a county did not necessarily have a household with 10,000 yuan. There was even a Hong Kong businessman who drove an imported car and wanted to exchange it for a pot of top-quality clivia. Can you believe it? But the truth is that crazy. Lu Qingshan clearly remembered that it wasn't until 1985 that the provincial newspaper published 3 editorials in a row to cool down the incident, and it finally calmed down. Clivia has also shed the high economic value imposed on it by people and returned to the origin of flowers. Although it is only 1983 and the price of clivia has not yet risen to sky-high prices, the price is already rising steadily. What if you go to Spring City with 2 small pots of clivia? Thinking about it, after it was disclosed in the newspaper, my mother heard about it and talked about it for a long time. I missed a chance to make a fortune, and I am sorry for the wealth left by my father. However, when Lu Qingshan told his thoughts, no one in the family believed it. First, the elder sister made a gesture to pull his ears. "Qingshan, where did you hear this? How do you hear that wind is rain?" Lu Qingshan quickly got behind his grandma, avoiding the clutches of his elder sister, listened to what the school teacher said. In this family, the words of the teacher are still very useful, because Lu Zijuan, who has passed away, used to be a teacher. A pot of flowers is worth so much money, impossible, definitely impossible. Grandpa also kept shaking his head. Lin Ji said with a little expectation, "Could it be Zijuan who protected us in another world and knew our family's current difficulties, so he left this wealth early?" Now, no one spoke, and everyone felt that there might be a divine will in the dark. As a result, Lu Yinfeng murmured, breaking the silence, "How do you say this clivia in English?" "Clivia." Lu Qingshan replied casually, and then added, "I love clivia, clivia more love in the breeze." "What does it mean?" Lu Yinfeng twisted her beautiful eyebrows, as if she didn't understand. "I love Junzilan, I love Junzifeng even more." This time, even Grandpa twirled his sparse gray beard and nodded repeatedly. Isn't that what he meant when he named his son Zijuan? "Brother, you really can speak English." Lu Yinfeng jumped over and grabbed Lu Qingshan's arm tightly, her delicate face flushed with excitement. Lu Qingshan couldn't help grinning and shouted, "Second sister, it hurts, you hurt me." Lu Yinfeng just let go of her hands, and saw several nail marks on her younger brother's arm, and couldn't help feeling distressed, and rubbed it gently with her hands. "Sister was too excited just now, brother, how can you speak English so well?" The rest of the people also looked over with searching faces. Lu Qingshan blinked. "Professor Wang who we sent down in Jayapagu before, you still remember, I learned from him." Old Wang, it's been several years. He's an overseas student, and he's used to drinking foreign ink. Grandpa and Professor Wang got along very well at that time, and unintentionally helped his grandson Lai. Lu Yinfeng smiled openly, like a blooming flower. Brother, hurry up and go into the house, and teach my sister English. It's all right now, you will tutor my sister in the future, and I will definitely be able to enter the university next year. Everyone also showed gratified smiles on their faces, only Lu Qingshan smacked his lips. Did you all go astray? Just now you said to exchange clivia for money. How did you come to learn English? This matter cannot be delayed. Whoa whoa. In the early morning, amidst the loud and clear crowing of the rooster, Lu Qingshan had already returned from the well along the edge of the well carrying a pole. In the past, it was the eldest sister who carried the water, but now, Lu Qingshan feels that, as the only man in the family, he should take on this task. Filled up the water tank, I was sweating profusely, and my shoulders were still burning. After breakfast, Lu Qingshan and his party set off, and the destination was of course Spring City. Qingshan, take good care of Grandpa on the way. The eldest sister urged. Pack up the letter of introduction, and don't forget to change the letter of introduction when you arrive at the commune. Second sister is usually a boring gourd, but now she also started nagging. Lin Ji was also a little worried, pulled his son and said, Qingshan, you must take care of the money and food stamps in your pocket. Don't worry, Mom, I promise you won't lose it. Lu Qingshan patted the root of his thigh and responded with a full mouth. Last night, Lin Ji sewed 30 yuan and 10 caddies of food stamps onto her underpants. My own family and all the belongings of my grandfather's family are in it. Brother, come back soon. The fourth child also waved his little hand. Be good, my brother will buy you delicious food and toffee when I come back. Lu Qingshan pushed his bicycle, and behind the car was his grandfather Lu Shikue. Behind them are De Tu and their Biaozi. Each of them is carrying a small flower basket, which is tightly covered. They want to send Lu Qingshan to the commune, and then push the bicycle back. As for Gao Wenxue, this guy is also in a daze now. If anyone pulls him out of the manuscript, he has to be impatient with someone. Qingshan, you must be careful when you go out. Behind him, the mother's exhortation came, and the mother was worried when the son traveled thousands of miles. This is true. She didn't know that her son, who traveled all over the country, had almost traveled all over the country, and it wasn't the first time he went out. From Jayapagu to the commune, it is nearly 20 miles, all of which are dirt roads with potholes. When encountering a place that is easy to walk, Lu Qingshan will ride for a while. If the place is too bumpy, he will push for a while, and when he is tired, he will wait for the little brothers behind. It's not that he wants to be easy and dominates the bicycle, but that the two friends behind him really don't know how to ride a bicycle, and they can push the cart into the ditch. Grandpa is still sitting in the car. Lu Qingshan is not worried about handing over the bicycle to them. It took nearly 2 hours to arrive at Qingshan commune. The road was replaced by a gravel road, and the buildings on both sides of the road were also turned into brick and tile structures. These are some main units of the commune: health center, food station, horse station, purchase department, etc. Of course, the most popular supply and marketing cooperative is indispensable. Slogans written or printed on the walls can be seen everywhere. Of course, the supply and marketing cooperative say, guarantee supply, and the health center say, everyone is responsible for family planning. Lu Qingshan didn't understand, everyone is responsible, even a child of how old is also responsible. The slogan on the wall of the commune is the most eye-catching. It is carved with cement and then painted with white ash. It reads, learn from Dazai in agriculture. Lu Qingshan entered through the gate next to this slogan, and then replaced the letter of introduction issued by the village with the official letter of introduction from the commune. These days, without a letter of introduction, it is absolutely impossible to move forward. No one pays attention to you when you eat, and no one pays attention to you when you stay in the hotel. How do you live? As for the reason, of course it can't be to go to Spring City to buy flowers, otherwise they won't open them for you at all. Therefore, I can only pull Grandpa out, treat the eyes. Moreover, Lu Qingshan really planned this way. No matter what, he still had to find a way to perform cataract surgery on his grandfather. In this life, he could not let his grandfather continue to be blind. After opening the letter of introduction, at noon, Lu Qingshan bought 4 big white steamed buns in the commune cafeteria, 5 cents plus a food stamp of 2 taels. It cost another 10 and 2 cents, and a large bowl of egg soup was brought up. Lu Qingshan filled a bowl for Grandpa first, and the rest was shared among the younger brothers. 1 bowl of soup and 1 steamed bun is enough for the old man, and the rest are half-sized, so I will die. It would be nice to have a meal of steamed buns with white noodles during Chinese New Year and energy saving. This is not enough, so let's make up for the spare intestines with the pancakes you brought. Lu Qingshan took a bite of the big steamed bun. It was soft and chewy, with the aroma of fermented flour, and after careful chewing, there was a slight aftertaste of sweetness. You said, why can't you taste this taste later? It took a total of 32 cents and 8 taels of food stamps, and the 4 of them were well fed. Out of the cafeteria, Datu and Erbiaozi happily pushed the car back, while Lu Qingshan and his grandfather waited for the bus under the shade of a tree by the side of the road. This is only one day, don't miss it. After a lot of trouble, the bus came and I got on the bus to buy a ticket. The female conductor saw that Lu Qingshan was still carrying a load with 2 flower baskets hanging on it, so she yelled, "Put your things on the rack above the bus." In this era, the service attitude of the service industry is generally not very good. People eat public meals and feel superior to others. By the way, the buses at this moment are all on the roof outside, with racks for loading. Passengers have to climb up from a small ladder at the back of the car when picking up and placing the goods. After putting the goods away, they are finally covered with a large net made of rope. The flower baskets contain treasures. How can they be placed on the roof of the car? What if they fall off? Lu Qingshan smiled and approached. "Sister, you look so handsome, if you don't stare, you must look better." Puchi, the female conductor, was amused by what he said. She waved her hand and told him to get on the bus. It seems that desserts are still necessary when going out. The road was bumpy, and I staggered to the county. Through the car window, Lu Qingshan looked at this strange but familiar small county town. There are no tall buildings, and the tallest building is only 4 floors. Pedestrians on the road are mostly riding bicycles, with a bag hanging on the handlebars, and their faces are peaceful and satisfied. This is the characteristic of this era. The pace of life has not yet soared. Although people's lives are hard and simple, they are full of flavor. If you only talk about the happiness index, it is estimated that people at this time are the highest. Don't worry about scarcity but inequality. The gap between people in this era is really not that big. Walking around all the way, Lu Qingshan didn't figure out any short, flat and quick way to make money. Even his original plan to sell vegetables in the county was a little shaken, because when he passed by the vegetable market, he unexpectedly discovered that it was very prosperous, and it was not his turn to be the first bird at all. In the past 2 years, the policies of the higher authorities have been loosened, so the people who have been holding back for a long time have burst out with unprecedented enthusiasm. A great era of rapid development is coming. After reading it, you can invest in it, by the way. It is definitely not a loss, and it is a proof. End of this chapter. Hello 1983 Chapter 7, Trendy Youth. Chapter 7 Trendy Youth. At noon the next day, Lu Qingshan carried the burden and led his grandfather, sweating profusely, got off the green leather train and out of the crowded Chunqing railway station. Compared with county towns, provincial capitals like Chunqing are a bit more colorful. People coming and going are dressed in brighter clothes, and there are quite a few older girls and daughters-in-law in long dresses. In addition to buses, there are also some green big Jifang trucks on the road, and occasionally black cars can be seen, which attracts envious eyes from people. On both sides of the road, there are more buildings, and the signboards of the shops are also colorful. If what you see in Jayapagu and Qingshan commune is a black and white photo, then Spring City has already been replaced with a color one, and it will become more and more colorful. The city is much more lively than before. Although Grandpa couldn't see clearly, the sound of vehicle horns and noisy crowds in his ears still made the old man sigh. The old man is not a small farmer who has never been to the city in his life. He has eaten and seen it before. "Master, drink some water first." Lu Qingshan put down the pick, took off the army green water bottle on his body, unscrewed the lid, and handed it to his grandfather. In this era, almost every household has a kettle of this kind. After taking 2 sips of water, the old man handed it back again. Lu Qingshan raised his neck to the spout, and gulped it all. "Do you want to take a car?" A voice came from the side. Lu Qingshan turned his head and saw that it was a 3-wheeler. It seems that this era is really about to wake up. Although I really want to sit, but the money in my pocket does not allow it. The total is only 30 or so yuan, the round-trip travel expenses plus board and lodging. It is enough for the father and the father to live in Chunqing for 3 to 5 days, and it really takes careful planning and spending. "Uncle, thank you, we don't take the car." Lu Qingshan smiled at the middle-aged man who was pedaling, and asked again, "Uncle, how can I get to Chaoyang Park?" The people at this time were still very simple. Although they didn't get any business, the other party still introduced the route in detail, and explained clearly how to get there by car. Lu Qingshan bowed again and again to express his gratitude. If this is left to future generations, if you ask the taxi driver about it, you may be sent to the North Pole. Carrying the burden and continuing on the road, I finally saw a bus stop, and a large group of people were waiting for the bus. Lu Qingshan led his grandfather over there. Just as he put down his load, a horn sounded not far away, indicating that the bus was about to arrive. Everyone rushed up one after another, almost staggering Lu Shikue, who was caught off guard. "Hey, what are you squeezing, hurrying to reincarnate? Didn't you see that there is an old man here?" A slightly high-pitched voice rang out in the crowd. People around gave way subconsciously, while Lu Qingshan leaned on a pole and looked around. A smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. On the opposite side are 2 young people dressed in different clothes, a man and a woman, both wearing bell-bottom trousers, which are tight at the top and wide at the bottom, and their buttocks are tight. When they reach the trouser legs, they let go suddenly. The trousers are a foot long, like a big bell-bottom of. These 2 have black-toed mirrors stuck on their noses. The young man combed 4 to 6 points, his hair was oily, and it seemed that he did not lack hair oil. There is a nursery rhyme that says, "If you have a big back, 2 tails of oil, you don't have to worry about marrying a daughter-in-law." The young woman is also more fashionable, with shawl-length hair in big waves and red lips. "It's just a bit too red, as if I just drank pig's blood and didn't wipe my mouth." On the other hand, Lu Qingshan was wearing cloth shoes, blue cloth pants with patches, an old vest on his upper body, and a coarse cloth jacket on his shoulders. Just now, he was still carrying a burden, but at first glance he was a countryman who had entered the city. These 2 types of people are also the representatives of this era. In this era, flared trousers, flowered shirts, toed mirrors, and a Sanyong tape recorder on the shoulder, in the eyes of most people, are unorthodox and bad young people. Actually, it is just the beginning of the young people's pursuit of freedom and liberation, so there is no need to make a fuss. Besides, the other party will help me speak, so naturally I want to thank him. So Lu Qingshan grinned, showing his white teeth, arched his hands and said, "Thank you." "Hi, you're welcome." The young man waved his hand and said disapprovingly, "Brother, your outfits are too cool." Lu Qingshan said after raising his hands. "Cool." The young man took off his sunglasses, put them in his shirt pocket, and asked a little puzzled, "What do you mean by cool? Are you scolding us or praising us?" The young woman also blinked. "Is this the dialect there?" Lu Qingshan followed with a smile and said, "This cool is the transliteration of English cool, and it is popular in the United States. The original meaning is cold, but it is extended to be cold and cold. You can understand it as more handsome and it's okay. Mike Harris should have seen it, people call it cool." Mike Harris was the protagonist of an American drama, The Man from the Atlantic, that was empty-handed at that time, and he was the idol of the youth at that time. The bell-bottom trousers, the toed mirror set, mainly came from this person. The 2 young men and women were a little dazed by his talk, and they were from the United States and English, which made them a little overwhelmed. "Hey, that's right, buddy, I'm cool, and I'm so cool." The young man thought he was very chic and shook his hair. Lu Qingshan waved his hands and said, "No, no, brother, you have to say it's really cool. It's dead, It's not good, it's not auspicious at all. The young man was unable to accept it, and kept shaking his head. This sounded like shooting someone, which was too unlucky. People in Hong Kong and Taiwan say that, for example, the songs of Teresa Teng and Lu Wenjing are so cool. Lu Qingshan said seriously. The young man muttered, "It's so cool, I found something. Xiao Mei, look at my brother's outfit, isn't it so cool?" The young woman smiled coquettishly and said, "Deshing, I think you are about to die." Seeing that the bus was about to enter the station, Lu Qingshan waved his hand, supported the old man and said, "Brother, see you later, we're getting on the bus." After getting on the bus, Lu Qingshan took out a dime and was about to buy a ticket, but someone behind him blew a whistle, then handed over a few monthly passes, and waved them in front of the conductor. "Account on me." Looking back, it was the cool and smoking young man just now. Lu Qingshan smiled and said, "Brother, thank you." The young man raised his chin and began to squeeze in. The bus was packed like fish cans, and there were no seats at all. The guy pointed at the two young people who were sitting and shouted, "Hey, I'm a little blind, don't you see any old people, give up your seat." The tone was very arrogant. When the two young men saw his behavior, we didn't dare to provoke him, so they stood up obediently. Lu Qingshan nodded his thanks to them, and then helped his grandfather to sit in the past. As for the other seat, it belonged to the young woman. The young man stood there, holding the armrest with one hand, throwing one leg in front of him, his heel on the ground, revealing the big pointed leather shoes, swinging back and forth, still whistling. The surrounding passengers subconsciously gave way. "Brother, your sweet honey is out of tune." Lu Qingshan felt uncomfortable hearing him whistling, and couldn't help reminding him in a low voice. "Yo, you still know this is sweet honey, you really come from the countryside?" The young man raised his brows and asked with some doubts. "I said I came from Guangdong, how do you believe me?" Lu Qingshan intentionally showed a bad taste, which made the young man laugh out loud. But the beginning of the conversation was not good. When he heard Cantonese, the young man felt as if he had been slapped with chicken blood, his toes dangled even more, and he sang Cantonese songs in his mouth, and he sang while singing. "It's not crowded in the car, maybe they all jumped on it." "Brother, don't sing, people want money for singing, and you are dying to sing." Lu Qingshan couldn't listen anymore. In this era, when northerners sing Cantonese songs, most of them are marked with homonyms of Mandarin. Flutter. The young woman named Xiaomei was drinking orange soda, but she sprayed it all at once. She quickly took out a handkerchief and covered her mouth, her shoulders still shrugged. The young man was also a little embarrassed by the words, and muttered, "You will come. This car is driving, not a place to sing." Lu Qingshan shook his head and refused. But the young men insisted, saying that they also got off the bus at Chaoyang Park and had a dance party in the park, and insisted that Lu Qingshan get off the bus and sing to him. What is the tune of Cantonese? The reason Lu Qingshan went to Chaoyang Park was because he knew that this was a distribution center for Clivia. After sitting for a few stops, it was time to get off the bus, without Lu Qingshan, so Xiaomei helped the old man to get off the bus, but she did not forget to say, "Little brother, don't just talk and not practice tricks. I haven't found a place to stay yet, so I can't leave my grandfather on the street." Lu Qingshan spread his hands. "It's easy to find accommodation, just go with my brother." The young man waved smartly and led them to a workers' hotel, then took out his work card and slapped it on the table, "Open me a double room." "Yo, Gangzi, friends are here." The waiter greeted enthusiastically. "Sister Wu, come to the room on the first floor, this old man's eyes are not very good." Beside Lu Qingshan glanced at it, the work ID of that young man was impressively the first automobile manufacturing factory. He was just about to pay the travel expenses, when Gangzi waved his hand impatiently. "What are you doing? Put away the slip, this is the hotel in the unit, don't worry, brother is easy to work here. Yes, the accommodation fee has been saved, and now I can be a lot more generous." Lu Qingshan naturally thanked him again. "Bring 2 hot water bottles and a porcelain basin from the front desk." Gangzi and Xiaomei helped Lu Qingshan put the things into the room together. "Little brother, pack up, I'm outside." Just as Gangzi went out, Lu Shikui patted Lu Qingshan's arm on the back. Sanfenger, let's change to another hotel. If you don't take advantage of others, you won't suffer. These words are definitely the most logical summation of the old man's life. Don't look at the bad eyesight now, my heart is bright. Following that, he took out an envelope from the pocket of his jacket. This is a letter from Lao Wang, that is, Professor Wang. It has his work unit and phone number on it. If you need anything, you can ask him for help. Lu Qingshan could not help but smile slightly. It turns out that Grandpa is still hiding this backhand. End of this chapter. Hello 1983 Chapter 8, Spacewalk. Chapter 8 Moonwalk. Master, it's okay. He has a decent work unit. I just checked his work permit. He won't take us to a black shop. You rest first, and I'll go and have a look. Lu Qingshan smiled and comforted. Lu Shikui nodded. At first he thought that his grandson had never traveled far, and he must be enlightened when he entered the city, but the result was a bit beyond his expectation, and he didn't admit it at all. It seems that this child has really grown up and can support the family of the old Lu family. After settling down Grandpa, Lu Qingshan washed his face and walked out. Seeing Lu Qingshan coming out, Gangzi hurriedly dragged him outside. Under the shade of a lush elm tree, Xiaomei was happily eating popsicles, holding 2 popsicles in her hand, and handed one to Gangzi and Lu Qingshan each. Cream ones cost a nickel. Looking at the popsicle in front of him, Lu Qingshan licked his lips. When I was a child, I seldom ate cream, and most of them were ordinary popsicles that cost 2 cents each. When I was eating, I was still reluctant to bite, so I had to bring the popsicle to my mouth, then stick out my tongue and lick it in circles. The square popsicles were licked into a small cylinder. In the end, even the wooden stick has to be sipped repeatedly in the mouth to squeeze out the last taste. Come, let's take a mule or a horse out for a walk. Gangzi put one hand in his pocket and said while biting a popsicle with the other. I'll call you Brother Gangzi, brother, order a song, order whatever you want. Lu Qingshan responded casually while eating popsicles. Yo, the tone is not small. Gangzi looked at the young man in front of him who was about to fall into scum, and he couldn't believe it in his heart. Just take the whole, Shanghai Beach. Fage's popular, Shanghai Bund, will not be released in China until 2 years later, but the TV series was filmed in 1980, and the songs in it have been passed down along with the tapes. If it weren't for people who follow trends, they would never sing this song, or even listen to it. So this little guy who ran out of nowhere in a ditch must have stopped cooking. Su Wenqiang, right? Lu Qingshan blinked, and said seriously, singing this song, you'd better wear a windbreaker, a top hat, and a snow-white scarf, that's called temperament. Gangzi was dumbfounded when he heard this. Because of the cover of the tape he managed to find, that man was dressed in this way, and he felt so handsome. No, it should be said that it feels so cool now. Then let me sing a few lines first, you listen carefully, the waves are rushing to the waves, and the river will never stop for thousands of miles. Open your mouth and you will hear a Cantonese accent. Uncle Jean's song is very exciting. Lu Qingshan howled so loudly that immediately attracted more than a dozen passers-by to watch. When he finished singing, they applauded together. Gangzi was really stupid this time, he opened his mouth, but didn't know what to say. Little brother, you sing really well. Xiaomei kept applauding, as if little stars appeared in her eyes. Lu Qingshan waved his hand, and said a few words modestly, I just finished eating popsicles, my throat is a little tight, and I sing like a lark. Gangzi grabbed Lu Qingshan's arm and yelled at the onlookers, this is my brother, you can sing well. By the way, brother, what is your last name? The people around curled their lips, and they all dispersed. The 3 of them officially got to know each other again. Gangzi's name is Lu Quangang, and Lu Qingshan is still in the same family, and Xiaomei's name is Wu Meiling. Brother, let's go to the park. We must take down all those guys today. They keep pressing us down every time. It's too embarrassing. Lu Quangang, who seemed to have been beaten like a chicken, dragged Lu Qingshan and ran to the park. Brother Gangzi, wait, my grandfather and I haven't eaten yet. Lu Qingshan waved his hands. Although he is only 16, he has a lot of strength, and the thin Lu Quangang really can't hold him back. It's a small thing to eat, brother Hui Hui will take you out of the restaurant, my brother, show a good performance in a while, compare with those guys, and order casual delicacies at night. Lu Quangang patted his chest and said. Well, it's time to talk about it, and Lu Qingshan can't hold it anymore. Besides, I just came to Spring City and I am not familiar with the place where I live. Whether it is selling clivia or buying wedding supplies for the eldest sister, it will definitely be a lot easier if there is a local household like Gangzi to help. So, he said hello to his grandfather, and then went to the park together. Tickets cost 2 cents apiece, and he didn't need to pay for it, so he just went in with a face. It seems that he didn't brag, and he really had a good time in this area. Parks in this era are still dominated by natural scenery, and there are not many recreational facilities. Green trees and safflowers are better than nature. Follow the gravel road until you come to the artificial lake. 2 groups of people have gathered here, and the total number is about 30 or 40. On the one hand, he was dressed similarly to Gangzi, and when he saw him, he waved and greeted him from a distance. The other side is dressed more plainly, and does not have that kind of airy temperament. Among them are 2 young men with guitars on their shoulders, and there is also a tall black man. These days, whether it is a guitar or a foreigner, it can attract crowds. Lu Qingshan understood a little bit. It seems that the other party is a college student, and there is also an international student. No wonder Gangzi and the others are deflated. This is not a class at all, okay? Gangzi, who is this kid? Which mountain did he come down from? A handsome young man with long hair glanced at Lu Qingshan and laughed teasingly. Gangzi immediately broke up with the other party with a pale face in a hurry. Brother Fei, this is my brother. He is very good at singing. Let's compare with those college students in a while. Looking at Lu Qingshan's attire, Brother Fei curled his lips. What are you singing? Singing Red Star Shining Shining, isn't it worth it? There was a burst of low laughter all around. Lu Qingshan was not in a hurry to express himself, but played a low-key role as a competent audience. The 2 sides have come together, and the 2 sides first take turns to send people to fight songs. Needless to say, once the other side plays the guitar, Gangzi's side will be lost. Then came the fighting dance, which was a bit of a match, but when the big boss on the opposite side performed a breakdance and stunned everyone, everything was over. The people on Brother Fei's side are all cursing, but they are still very particular, admitting defeat. It's just that, in the future, they can no longer play here in Chaoyang Park. This place is completely given over to those college students. Hey, wait, my brother hasn't played yet. Brother, give them one. The red-eyed Gangzi next to him also went all out. Anyway, this is the case, so how can it be so miserable? Brother Fei, who was terrified, said angrily, what are you doing, twisting Big Yanko? This time, his companions didn't laugh, obviously not in that mood anymore. Lu Qingshan grinned, making a move at a critical moment. This is called sending charcoal in a timely manner. Brother Gangzi, everyone, then I will make a fool of myself. Lu Qingshan yelled, and walked to the center of the venue calmly. Hey, he really dances. Isn't that embarrassing enough? This kid is dressed in rags, patched, as if he just came back from working in the fields, and he still dances like others. Give you a rake, and a Zhu Beiji will hit the ground just right. Everyone was obviously not optimistic about Lu Qingshan at all, and turned their heads away one after another. However, they heard a strange exclamation from the opposite side, wow! It was the guy who was doing the breakdance just now. At this moment, this guy's eyes were fixed, staring at the half-sized guy, and his mouth was open to a surprising degree. Let's not talk about eggs, big goose eggs can be stuffed in whole. Looking at the middle-aged man again, everyone's eyes widened. This. What kind of dance is this dancing? Why haven't I seen it? Well, I really haven't seen it. I saw that half-sized kid walking very lightly, sliding on the ground. The joints on his body were like chains that had just been oiled, easily showing all kinds of incredible visual effects. Even, the audience had an illusion, did this kid float when he walked? This time, everyone in the field was stunned, and the way they looked at Lu Qingshan was completely different. The rag shirt with the arms open seems to have become a butterfly with wings, the old trousers full of patches also look so different. The only regret is that there is no supporting music, which makes the dance effect a little discounted. What's more, Lu Qingshan's pants are too big, otherwise, all kinds of sliding steps will definitely be more coquettish and unrestrained. When he finished dancing, there was no applause or applause. However, the stunned expressions of dozens of people around proved that he was completely conquered by him. "Oh God, moonwalk!" The international students screamed and rushed towards Lu Qingshan. Everyone came back to their senses. Brother Fei excitedly asked a college student on the opposite side, "Liangzi, what do you mean?" Moonwalk, also called spacewalk, is said to have been created by music superstar Michael Jackson on the other side of the ocean this year. It hasn't been passed on from our side yet, no one will, or even seen it. The college student named Liangzi also said in amazement. "Hey, awesome man." Brother Fei's eyes lit up immediately. Yes, that slide just now was like walking in space. Haha, Ryoko, how do you win or lose this time? Ryoko waved her hand. Hey, it doesn't matter whether you win or lose, let's talk about spacewalking first. No wonder he was so excited. If he learned this dance and took a moonwalk in front of the school cafeteria, he would definitely be able to earn his girl's meal ticket for a year. Exactly. If you have to learn, you have to learn. Brother Fei also came to his senses. Then, Lu Qingshan was surrounded by a group of screaming young men and women. This time it was good, he couldn't run away even if he wanted to. Most of the afternoon, Lu Qingshan taught them the most classic backslide, and then he lost that energy and stamina. He hadn't eaten yet, and he was so hungry. A group of college students left reluctantly, but Gongzi rushed over, directly hugged Lu Qingshan, and turned around several times. "Brother, no, brother, you are my brother. Let's go, tonight spring together, I'll be the host." Winning the competition, Brother Fei, who had saved face, also seemed extraordinarily excited. "Chun Fei, that is a long-established restaurant in Chunqing, if you can go there for a meal, you will have face." Lu Qingshan frowned and said, "Brother Fei, my grandfather is still waiting for me at the hotel." "Oh, and the old man, he must not be able to chat with us young people." Brother Fei waved his hand neatly, "It's easy to handle. When the food is ordered later, I will send some to the old man to deliver it. I will definitely not make the old man hungry. Brothers, let's go." After finishing speaking, he picked up the Yenwu tape recorder on his shoulder, and it clicked continuously. The group of people walked and twisted their buttocks, just like a group of demons dancing wildly, causing passers-by to hide. Lu Qingshan also hurried to the side, staring at the tape recorder a little greedy. "If only I could buy one for my eldest sister." End of this chapter. Hello 1983 Chapter 9, Each Have Their Own Concerns. Chapter 9. Old man Lu Shikue had a long sleep in the hotel, and when he woke up, he felt much more refreshed. "This age is very old, and the journey is exhausting, so I really can't bear it." Thinking back, he was also a parachutist who traveled 200 miles a day, but now he has to accept his old age. Going to the bathroom, he found that his grandson hadn't come back yet, so he asked the waiter. It was past 5 o'clock, and the old man was unavoidably anxious. Where did this kid go? When Lu Shikue was in a panic, he suddenly heard someone knock on the door. "Master, dinner is ready." It was the voice of the young man at noon. Lu Shikue fumbled and opened the door, and the aroma of food came to his nostrils. "This is... Where is Aoima?" Lu Shikue asked with some doubts. "Oh, Qingshan is eating with us at the restaurant. He told you to bring some food back first, so you can't keep you hungry." Gongzi quickly put the food on the table. "Grandpa, this is Chun Fei's pot wrapped in slippery meat section. You always eat it while it's hot. Is there any snow-covered bean paste?" Lu Shikue felt at ease now, and asked casually. "That must be done, old man, so you have eaten and seen it before." Gongzi said a few words, opened the lid of the wine bottle, poured most of it from the white porcelain teacup in the house, and then ran away in a hurry. San Fenger has really grown up. Lu Shikue was in a good mood. He picked up a slice of meat in a leisurely manner, put it in his mouth and chewed slowly. it's really delicious, I haven't tasted this taste for many years. Take another sip of the wine, it's a pleasure. In the restaurant, Lu Qingshan also started to eat. First, a piece of pot-wrapped meat, golden in color, sweet and sour, charred on the outside and tender on the inside, it tastes authentic. There is also this snow-covered bean paste, which is white in color, sweet and delicious, delicious. The others ate and drank, and asked Lu Qingshan for a bottle of orange soda. The restaurant right now can be said to be genuine. Meat and vegetables only cost a piece, and a large plate of grilled meat sticks costs only a piece. It seems cheap, but in fact, if you compare it with your salary, a meat dish accounts for almost 1/30 of your salary. If you have a family and a job, who would dare to eat like this? That is to say, this group of young people, all of whom are light-handed, have taken part in the work to make money, and there is no burden from the family. It can be said that one person has enough to eat, and the whole family has no worries. Lu Qingshan listened to them drinking and chatting, and he could hear the general idea. Basically, they all belong to the same factory as Lu Quangang, and it seems that there are no ordinary workers in the family. After filling his stomach, Lu Qingshan had the time to look at the layout of the restaurant. Several large tables are basically occupied. Except for their table, the rest of the tables are filled with middle-aged people. It is estimated that many of them are on business. The recipes are all hung on the wall. They are small wooden signs with the names of the dishes written on them. These are called menu cards. This is still a more sophisticated restaurant. If it is an ordinary small shop, just poke a small blackboard and write a few dishes on the small blackboard with chalk. While he was looking at it, he heard Brother Fei yelling beside him, "Little brother, today you are giving us a face, come on, make a hole." Everyone picked up the small white porcelain wine cups, bowed their necks and finished. Even the young women were unambiguous. Nowadays, drinking is done in wine cups, the smaller ones are 3 qian and 4 qian, and the larger ones are 8 qian cups. Drinking with a wine cup is basically a sip at a time. If you don't know what to do, it's easy to drink too much. In winter, the wine is relatively cold, so you have to scald the wine with the matching small flagon, so that you can drink it comfortably. There is a local saying that goes well, drinking cold wine and spending dirty money will lead to illness sooner or later, and this is the truth. Lu Qingshan raised the soda bottle and gestured for it. After each had a mouthful of food, Brother Fei asked again, "Qingshan, it's not easy to go to the city, so we can spend a few more days." "Brother Fei, this time I went to the city to show my grandfather to see if he can remove the cataract." Lu Qingshan shook his head and said, "Okay, I'm quite filial. This matter is easy to handle. My aunt is in the general hospital of the factory, and I will arrange everything for you tomorrow." Fei Gu said righteously. Lu Qingshan said a little embarrassedly, "Brother Fei, my grandfather can't do the operation right now. I only have a dozen yuan left in my pocket, which is definitely not enough." Brother Fei couldn't help frowning, and glanced at Lu Qingshan. "Then I'll talk to my aunt to see if I can replace someone else's name and reimburse the full amount." He thought that this half-child was climbing up the pole, looking for a bargain. However, for the sake of helping them this afternoon, Brother Fei doesn't mind helping. But in this way, there will be no friendship. Lu Qingshan waved his hands again and again. Don't, Brother Fei, I would be very grateful if you could help us contact the hospital. The situation is like this, I brought 2 pots of clivia from my hometown, and I want to try selling them." "Clivia, seems to be worth some money," Brother Fei nodded, and looked at the young man in front of him again, and it was pleasing to the eye again. "It's just that everyone here is young, they don't like these flowers and plants, they don't know the specific price, and they can't talk about it. When they are full, they go away." It was still Gongzi and Xiaomei who sent Lu Qingshan back to the hotel, and agreed to come back tomorrow morning to accompany Lu Qingshan to sell flowers, and the two left with arms crossed. There are really many friends and many paths, Lu Qingshan sighed secretly and went back to the room. "Master, have you eaten yet?" After entering the house, he hurriedly cleaned up the leftovers on the table. "Don't waste it, it'll be hot tomorrow morning, it's enough for the 2 of you to have breakfast." The old man nodded, eat well, I haven't been to a restaurant for many years, and the taste hasn't changed at all." After finishing speaking, he began to tell his grandson again, Qing Shan, they are not the same as us after all, it is better to have less contact. Lu Qingshan smiled and said, Master, don't worry, they are not bad people, they helped me contact the hospital today. When I sell Clivia later, I will perform surgery on your eyes. Then, you will be able to see again. To tell the truth, when he entered the room just now, seeing his grandpa staring blankly out of the window, Lu Qingshan felt very sad, and he became more determined to show his grandpa his eyes. That's impossible. Even if you sell the money, you still have to arrange the marriage for your eldest sister. In the future, you and Fenger will go to high school, and there will be plenty of places to spend money at home. The old man waved his hands again and again. Finally, he took out another small bag from his pocket. Sanfenger, if that Clivia is worthless, then sell this pair of bracelets. After all, I still brought this thing. Lu Qingshan shook his head and said, Master, you put it away first, and I will ask you for it when you really need it. The grandpa and grandson had their own concerns, washed up and went to bed early. The next morning, my father and I got up at dawn. The biological clock is like this, and we have long been used to it. Drawing grandpa outside for a walk, Lu Qingshan kept saying from time to time, Master, if your eyes are better, you can take a good look at the world. In the past 2 years, great changes have been made. The old man sullenly remained silent. Lu Qingshan knew his grandfather's temper. It seemed that he could only change his mind when he got money from the sale. At this moment, there are already early stalls, and the price is really not expensive. Steamed buns are 5 cents, flour rolls are 6 cents, and sugar triangles are only 8 cents. Steamed buns are a little more expensive, and the ones filled with meat cost 19 cents, but they are big, similar to big steamed buns. Bought a sugar triangle for Grandpa. Lu Qingshan strolled back to the hotel, soaked the leftover rice from yesterday in boiling water, put the leftovers on the side of the boiler to heat up, and finished it with a breakfast. Waited in the house for a long time, but there was no sign of Lu Quangang, so Lu Qingshan simply stopped waiting, and decided to bring a pot to test the water first. He asked the waiter in the hotel to understand that the flower, bird and fish market in front of Chaoyang Park is a morning market, and it will be gone after 8:30 in the morning. Picking up the flowering pot of Clivia, when Lu Qingshan went out, he did not forget to say hello to the waiter. If Lu Quangang came, he would know where he was going. On both sides of Chaoyang Park Road, there are dozens of street stalls scattered, most of which sell flowers, birds, fish and insects. There are many elderly people who get up early and take a walk, and a few of them walk with birds in cages. 9 out of 10 of these are veteran cadres, and you can tell from their clothes. Most of them are really good half-sleeved shirts, and they wear leather sandals on their feet. Passing by a stall, Lu Qingshan couldn't help but stop, and saw a large piece of green canvas on the ground, with a lot of odds and ends on it. End of this chapter. Hello 1983 Chapter 10, Flower Sale. Chapter 10 Flower Selling Disturbance. Antique. Lu Qingshan had a flash of inspiration in his mind, and his heart beat hard a few times in disappointment. Currently, the antique craze has not yet risen, and filling the stomach is still the top priority. Therefore, the value of antiques, relatively speaking, is simply the price of cabbage. Of course, the price of this cabbage is relatively speaking. The price of antiques can range from tens of yuan to hundreds of yuan. Sweeping his eyes, Lu Qingshan's eyes suddenly lit up. His eyes fell on the entire page of red and golden stamps. The stamp has a bright red background, which is very festive, with a golden monkey squatting in the middle, with fine hair showing. The full-page monkey ticket, if there is such a version in later generations, it will be enough for retirement money. Boss, how do you sell these stamps? Lu Qingshan couldn't help raising his hand and asked. The stall owner is a middle-aged man with a simple and honest appearance. He glanced at Lu Qingshan and raised a finger with a smile. 100, this is too expensive for you. The stall owner still smiled and shook his head. Young man, I'm talking about 1,000, okay? What, 1,000? So expensive? Lu Qingshan blinked hard twice. This is equivalent to a worker's salary for several years. Anyway, there were no other customers, so the stall owner started chattering. Little comrade, you should know this Qingshan monkey. not to mention other stamps, this monkey ticket, although the face value is 8 cents, but now each one has gone up to $3. For the full page, the price will at least double. How much do you calculate? Lu Qingshan secretly calculated. The first round of zodiac stamps is 80 per page, and if each stamp costs 3 yuan, it will be 240 yuan. It is normal to double the entire page, plus the precious stamps of those special years in the stamp album. 1,000 yuan is really a conscience price. If you buy it, you can save it for 10 or 20 years, and it will be a few million. Lu Qingshan really wanted to win it, but he really had no money in his pocket. Clivia, little comrade, how do you sell this clivia? A surprised voice came from behind. Turning his head, Lu Qingshan found that the flower basket that he had tightly covered had been lifted. There is a young man squatting there to see. This guy is wearing a big vest, a pair of big pants, and is shaking a broken fan in his hand. It looks thin and has a sharp mouth and monkey cheeks, which is not as rare as the Gengxian monkey that Lu Qingshan saw just now. He was still yelling, "I, Ho-san, really have a pair of piercing eyes. I glanced through the gaps in this flower basket, and I knew it was a clivia." The yelling soon attracted several passers-by who were strolling around, and they all gathered around the basket to watch. One of the old men who looked like a retired cadre muttered, "Hey, I don't seem to have seen this breed on the market." Seeing Ho-san saying that while stretching out his hands to pinch the leaves of clivia, Lu Qingshan immediately stood in front of him. "You are only allowed to look, not to touch." Ho-san grinned, "Little comrade, don't be nervous, I'll buy it." Following that, he took out a big ticket from his pocket, waved it flamboyantly and said, "Little comrade, have you never seen such a big ticket in your village? If you sell this flower to me, this one will be yours." Ho-san looked at the middle-aged man in front of him, dressed in rags, and wanted to take advantage of it. If he was really an ordinary farm boy, he might agree. However, Lu Qingshan didn't look at him directly, and said loudly, "Yulon grows out of the empty valley, Juesher grows alone. Only our mountain valley with beautiful mountains and rivers can grow such a good clivia, and you can't buy it for 10 yuan. Well, well said, well said." The retired veteran cadre just nodded vigorously. Someone beside him also echoed, "This little comrade is a bit level. I heard that our spring city will soon designate clivia as a market flower. Isn't it just that the flower of clivia is rare, like an independent gentleman?" Lu Qingshan followed suit, then smiled at Ho-san, "Comrade Hoer, what do you think?" Ho-san blinked his small eyes a few times. He didn't understand anything about what everyone said just now, but he knew one thing, clivia is valuable. However, this half-child seems to be knowledgeable. I'm afraid it's not easy to fool. After thinking about it, he decided to try again. "Little comrade, you have traveled a long way, and it is not easy to go to the city to sell flowers. I will give you more." After speaking, he took out another card of great unity. Lu Qingshan still shook his head. "Another 10 yuan. Lu Qingshan ignored him. "Another 10 yuan. Ho-san was also in a hurry, his voice was shriller than a monkey's. "I'll add." After adding it to 80, Ho-san took out his pocket and turned it over, but he didn't find any more money. Not reconciled, he went to the stall owner just now, muttered for a while, borrowed some money, and then said, "Little comrade, our city government just issued document number 12 last year, stipulating that the price of clivia should not exceed 100 yuan. Brother, I will offer 180 yuan, this is the price of conscience." Of course Lu Qingshan will not be fooled by the other party's small tricks. Of course he knows the documents, and he also knows that the more the documents are banned, the more expensive they will be. It's like saying to control housing prices every year after liberalizing commercial housing, isn't it going up every year? Seeing that this half-sized boy was stunned to withstand the temptation of 180 yuan, Ho-san was in no mood. No matter how high the price was, he couldn't afford it. The middle-aged stall owner next to him couldn't help persuading, "I said Sanner, the young comrades are also knowledgeable, or you can earn some handling fees. It's not like Ho-san has never done this kind of business introduction and earning some benefits." Ho-san was stunned there, and began to hesitate in his heart. At this moment, someone suddenly called out, "Look, foreigner!" A foreigner came out of the park. These days, foreigners are rare, and everywhere they go, they are surrounded like giant pandas. The retired veteran cadre was still knowledgeable, glanced at it and said, "What kind of foreigner? That's what the old society called, and now they are all called foreign guests." An old man next to him also nodded, "This foreign guest comes to the park for a walk every day. I heard that he is a foreign expert invited by the machinery factory to install equipment." The stall owner also followed suit, "Isn't it? I can see it everywhere, and there is a driver in the sky. Is there a small car at the gate of the park? It is specially for foreign guests." Lu Qingshan also looked over. It was a middle-aged foreigner with a little baldness on the top of his head, wearing a tracksuit, and trotting slowly. Then, the topic started to go off track. Everyone talked about the life of foreigners, such as upstairs and downstairs lights and telephones, and cars when going out. Lu Qingshan was very happy when he heard it. "Don't be envious, everyone, in a few decades, we can also live such a life. I was thinking about it when I heard Ho San scream, 'Haha, this foreigner is also a monkey, and he is doing somersaults.'" While speaking, the foreigner leaned back, and then fell forward to the ground. End of this chapter.